This episode is brought to you by Snap Guam Studios. Film photography is making a comeback on Island. One of the questions I get ever since I started film photography is where I get my roles developed. Snap Guam is a Guam based photography and videography studio that offers film development and scanning services. They also have a variety of different film stocks like Kodak Gold and my favorite, Portra 800. Want to start getting into film photography? They also sell film cameras from SLRs to rangefinders and disposables. Get your film developed by Snapguam Studio today. Contact them on Instagram at snap.film.record_gu. All right. Sinky clap. What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the Dust to Dawn podcast. I'm your host, Don Sulat, and thank you for tuning in. We have a solo episode tonight. So it's another one of them crazy nights. Crazy nights being me talking to the camera solo for about 40 minutes. Shout out to STG Filmmakers, otherwise known as Shane Gillens, for last week's episode. Very interesting topic, especially topics considering who I normally had on or who I previously had on the podcast. I had people where we were close, a little more similar in age, and our mindset was a little different, especially considering Shane towards the end was talking primarily about business being free and owning property as something like a lot of people my age don't really talk about. I mean, well, I'm starting to because I'm in my late 20s, but he was talking about bringing the conversation younger, like as young as 16, 17 years old. And to get into that and how that relates to being a creative, I'll get to that in a second. But it was an interesting topic because that just talking about it, that now puts it into what people say is manifesting. And although I don't believe in, when people hear manifesting, sometimes it gives this connotation of you're believing in crystals, you're believing in some weird third power, whether that's not necessarily religion, it could be, but to me, I think manifesting is like one of those things where by speaking into existence, you are now holding yourself somewhat accountable to getting to what that stage or what that thing you want, a closer step to getting that thing, whether that's buying a house or a new camera, your dream camera, your dream car, whatever that may be. And that conversation with me and him, because for context, I think he's old enough to be my dad if he had me at a younger age. Love you, Shane. But it was really like him telling me, if he was in my shoes, what he would have done differently. And that's that now opens the floodgates, that now opens my mind into being like, okay, it's actually possible. And I briefly mentioned it there too. I have people my age from my friend group in high school who own property now, who own land. I have friends who are who I don't know if they're multimillionaires, but they're in that high tax bracket where it's a privilege to pay tax. I have a few friends like that. And before, I thought I wouldn't see that type of numbers, excuse me, until I'd be in my late 30s, But when I came to Guam, suddenly the floodgates slowly opened. Like, what? You owned a house at 22? And this guy's a little older than me. And then now I have a friend who's my age. He's like, yo, Don, I got my first property. I'm like, holy crap. What about me? So how do I do that? Now to scale that back a bit, in terms of being a creative. Because really what a lot of people don't realize is that when you say you're manifesting it or whatever, and you can't just let the universe you can't just say it and then do nothing and say like, oh, the universe will take care of me. I think that's a bunch of, excuse me. That's a little bit of you're not going to get what you want because you actually have to work for it. So to me, manifesting, the way I think about it is, okay, I'm going to manifest. Right now, the dream is to have a nice six-pack. That's a nice body toned, that's right. Follow me on the socials for my fitness journey. The dream is to have a six-pack, and the moment I get that, The moment I take those nice shirtless pictures after being a fluffy man most of my life, the next day I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna gain so much weight. I just want it, but I gotta work for it, right? Similarly, like by saying I'm gonna own a house at the age of 30, I have 3 years left. So, but that means I have to put in the work to owning that house. I can't just say my dream that I'm gonna own a house by 30, but I don't put any steps into getting said house. I don't set money aside. I don't talk to real estate people. I don't talk to anybody. I don't ask homeowners how first time homeowners how they got it. Cause then not cause then at that point you're just speaking to me. I feel like those people are just like they're just speaking nonsense or like, you know, they're not they're just dreaming at that point. It's not bad to dream, but like you should put in the work to make that dream a reality. That's what I'm trying to say. And again, take this with a tub of salt because who am I? I do not own a house yet. It's a dream right now, like I just said, but we're working on it. Um, but to get into that, into why I think just manifesting it in the beginning is a helpful thing. That that opens the floodgate for you and these opportunities because really by not speaking it out most people I think they don't tell anybody not even just a conversation between them and a camera like the crazy person that they are, then they probably won't do it. For context, this podcast has been not context. For example, this podcast, I've been talking about doing it for over a year. Producer got the equipment and then took a year for me to get to be like, okay, let's do it. Like the opportunity was there. And then prior to that year of like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this in my head, I never bothered to speak it out loud. I said, I would just watch podcasts and I'd silently say, wouldn't that be nice to do? But I never really told anybody about it until one day, the opportunity presented itself. But I still had to put in the work, right? Like, and it took a while to do it. One, because you got to find the time to do it, and two, the planning stages. People always talk about like, when are you gonna do it? But the fear of like, the fear of wanting it to be perfect gets in your head. That's what took a hot minute to get the podcast started. But that also translates to other things too in life that I have experienced, like being a photographer. Like, the fear of like, what if no one likes my work? So I never publish it. So there's that. And to tie that into manifesting, it's like you fear that you'll fear the fear of like, owning a house is expensive, especially here on Guam. It's just rent alone is expensive, right? I pay $1,000 for a 2-bedroom, 1 bath in Tamuning. And for local listeners and viewers, that's a prime spot, right? I paid a full rent. My roommate pays for the utilities because I felt that was fair because I make more than him. So I think that was fair because we do, in our living arrangement. I'm not telling you to. If you live with somebody, make your own how much you guys split is between you two or you three, whatever. But owning land here is expensive, right? So the fear of like, oh my gosh, I'll never afford it, might get into your head. Like, look at that property. It's $400,000 for that dinky little spot, and it's like that's almost $500,000, man. Shoot. And then you look at other places, and you're like, oh wow, that's 200 grand, but it's just a 1-bedroom condo unit, and you're not really owning the land at that point. You're just owning the little rentals, that one space in that complex. So it starts to get to you like, I will not own this land. I think it's cheaper for me to rent for over here in Guam, which may be true, but you wouldn't know unless like you just start saving up bit by bit, and eventually the opportunity might present itself to you. Because like me, I thought like to bring that into a smaller scale, it was like I was thinking, oh, owning a new car would be so hard, and it still is. But I'll be like, oh, I'll never own a new car. And then I found out that eventually, like the places I would go, the dealership I went to, they had a deal going on. I got lucky with pandemic unemployment assistance, and I had enough to put a down payment, and I had decent credit, and I just joined with my dad, so it's easier. And I was like, oh my gosh, here it is. But I now own a new car. Now, had I, granted, there was a little bit of luck in there, but there could be sales going all around. That car could have been selling for like 5 grand, but if I only had like $50 in the bank account, I would not be able to buy it. Similarly, if the house sells for less than what it previously was going for, if you didn't have the money saved up, you couldn't buy it because you weren't prepared for it, because you keep thinking this will never happen. Now, to bring that into a creative aspect, my line of work where I've gone in life right now really was a lot of luck met opportunity meets hard work. Because all this opportunity can open its doors, but if I'm not ready, then I don't think it'll happen again. Like I remember I said, oh, I would love to shoot a wedding one day. Then I just kept doing the work. Eventually someone reached out and asked me, hey, could you shoot a wedding? And again, like I said before, I shot it for cents on the dollar. But that then opened up more doors for more weddings. But if I didn't put in the hard work to make my photos the way they are, to make the product how I feel is like of the quality that I liked, then I don't think I would have gotten that gig. So that's why I'm saying like you should speak it into existence so you can grab it. Like, and I feel like it's good that I'm having this conversation now because I'm in the learning process with you guys. Because typically, when people speak advice, they're at a higher level than you are. Not to say they're better than you, not to say that this person's on a pedestal, but they may be a little more far ahead in life compared to you. So then you're looking at them and like, okay, yes, now I have this person, this friend of mine, this mentor, he or she is my ticket because I'm learning from them. But things have changed. Things could have changed compared to when they started versus where you're at now. Because they could have gotten where they're at because they were lucky at the time and they had, again, they already had, let's say, friend buys house. At the time of them buying the house, the market was down and he had like 10 grand in his bank account. Okay, so now he can do the down payment. He owns the property. But you're not so lucky you didn't have 10 grand in the bank account. So now you two are different levels. He can tell you the steps that he did to closing the house, but he was already far ahead in life compared to you because he had more savings. He or she may had more savings than you did. So now it's like, and if they were in my shoes, it would be different. So I'm saying this to say I'm holding me accountable by talking to you guys. And again, this is low-key crazy because I'm just talking to a camera that can't talk back. But we're in the same level. So this is me. Granted, like here's the level. I may be like right here just because I'm planning to do it. And you, dear viewer, dear listener, it might not be registering in your head to do it, whatever it may be. Whether that is starting your business, starting a podcast, starting writing music, or buying your first home, buying your first car, whatever it may be. If the thought is not even in your head, I'm like over here. I'm not like up here. Granted, unless we're starting a podcast, because now we're on episode 9. This 9 weeks of hard work, guys. Like, my God. Thank you to all 3 of you who watch. Shout out Brian, because I know he watches everything while he's eating. We're going to have him on eventually. Shout out Jen, because I forced her to watch it all. And shout out to me because I watch it too while I put on incognito so that adds an extra view. Jokes aside, um, by being in the same level, I feel like this adds some layer of relatability. So now it's like, okay, we're in it together. So when I buy my first property, hopefully someone, you, dear viewer, dear listener, dear friend, would be in the same boat and like, okay, I'm about to foreclose on my home too. Or I'm about to buy the dream camera, whatever it may be. So now you're like, we started together and we're gonna go up together. That's the dream. That's like, and I briefly talked about it in that one episode where I was saying being a creative is lonely because you want your friends while you're going up in life, you want to take them with you because you want to share your success. And unfortunately, not everyone who comes into your life are meant to stay in your life. And that's something I stole from Gabriel Iglesias. I forgot what interview he was recently on. Shout out Fluffy. But that's true though. But not to get, we'll get into a Nemo episode sometime later. But it's true though. Like, I'm not saying I'm coming up. I'm not a coming up artist. I'm not a coming up podcaster. I'm just some guy who has a lot of things to talk about that I feel like, well, if I'm going through this, someone else might be going through a similar situation. And I want them to know that they're not alone in real time. Granted, we filmed these like a week in advance, but still relatively new on time, unless this podcast makes it in the future. Again, Amazon links down below. Support the podcast. We are starting with the Patreon content. Shout out Shane. There's some BTS footage that will never leak, will never see the light of day. But we're starting the backlog footage. But oh man, the ADHD got me. What was I yapping on about? There we go. So now in real time, or as of this recording, you get to see my struggles, me talking about how I'm trying to be financially free so I can be a creative. And I think that's what Shane wanted to really emphasize towards the end of the podcast. And he did say it. Wouldn't it be nice where you could fund your own project without having to worry about where you're gonna get the capital from? And that was the main takeaway from what he was trying to say. Like, if you're financially free, if you don't have to worry about rent, you don't have to worry about where you're gonna get your next meal, you can wholeheartedly focus on being a creative, whether you own a Canon M50 or a C300. By the way, if you notice, you could tell which one was the C300 and the M50 because one camera looked really nice and the other one looked like grain, sandy footage. Because, like, I don't know, I'm not that good at lighting. I'm still learning the Goijan Minay, but you get to see that in real time, you know? You get to see my struggles and how I'm trying to climb up out of this hole that I dug myself in and my journey. And that's really what I want to show people. And right now it's 5 of you guys. What did I say earlier? Right now it's 3 of you guys who are watching. Shout out to all of you who watch. And a few others that I may not name, and the 4 people who listen on spot in the Philippines. I don't know who you are, but thank you. Salamat. Marami ng salamat po. Wow. We're getting bilingual up in here, not just my accent. But, you know, the purpose of this whole episode is just me manifesting that this podcast will blow up and I get to quit my day job and I get to do this all of the time. And I will release like different content here and there. That's like me putting it out there, me holding myself accountable into doing the work. So I'm taking you guys along with me. That's really what I'm trying to say. And hopefully, when I eventually foreclose on a home, whether that's in 5 years or 10, that's still the goal, right? I know Shane said, never mind all of this, but we're already doing it. We already have access to this stuff. And he did say it too, like build good credit, dig yourself out of this hole, and then it'll become easier to be financially free. But I already own the stuff, so I might as well try and put myself out there. I might as well try and use the platform that I'm trying to build. And it's a fun ride. Loki, you can tell when I'm just pulling stuff out of my ass, but like but it's stuff that's been in my head for a while now, and I'm trying to get it out there because if I could just help one person, if I can just say, hey, this if you're scared of where you're gonna get your next meal, if you're gonna pay rent, whatever, and you're that starving artist, in real time, know that this fluffy dude from Guam or on Guam from Saipan is in the same boat as you, and we're gonna make it out because we're hard workers. So that's what I'm trying to say. All right. And speaking of pulling stuff out of my ass, we don't curse here, okay? To me, that's not a bad word. But I'm gonna recuperate a little bit because ADHD is getting a little bit into my head, in the words of Tom DeLonge. So I'll give you guys a little bit more detail on what my next project is, my next short-term project in terms of the podcast, in terms of how I plan to use this creative outlet of mine to help dig me out of the hole right after this quick break. Episode is brought to you by Snap Guam Studios. Film photography is making a comeback on island. One of the questions I get ever since I started film photography is where I get my roles developed. Snap Guam is a Guam-based photography and videography studio that offers film development and scanning services. They also have a variety of different film stocks like Kodak Gold and my favorite, Portra 800. Want to start getting into film photography? They also sell film cameras from SLRs to rangefinders and disposables. Get your film developed by Snap Guam Studio today. Contact them on Instagram at snap.film.record_gu. This episode is brought to you by D-Day Studios. D-Day Studios is a local photography and videography service run by, well, me. And this is my podcast, so shameless plug. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at D-Day Studio 670 and send me a message if you want to take some bomb photos today. Again, that is D-Day Studio 670 on Instagram. Now back to the episode. Welcome back from that quick break. We are by we, I mean me and the camera. We're very, very relaxed. Wait till the Patreon comes out so you know what that means. And again, if you want to support the podcast, Amazon links down below. I want royalty-free music, Epidemic Sound, that's my go-to. Use my link. Help me get some money so you can help my manifestation become reality. But yeah, welcome back to the show. Wanted to talk about how what my goal is right now, and that really is to become financially free, and how that manifestation is working on it. Because really, at the end of the day, like Shane was talking about, to quote him directly, wouldn't it be nice to do a passion project of yours? Granted, I don't think this is a verbatim what he said, without having to worry about the capital. Because, just shooting videos, whatever passion project that is, shooting music videos, shooting a short story, a short movie, documentary, money is going into that, whether you know it or not. But your camera equipment, your time really is money. Like, we only have a finite amount of hours in a day. So you dedicating time for this passion project is time away from what you could be doing to get some money, whether that is picking hours from your shift or doing a video that will make money, right? So talk about financial freedom and manifesting it, because really these goals, they seem out of reach, but they're not. I like to joke, if you know me in my personal life. Speaking of personal, really quick tangent. I said 3 people who watch the show. Shout out Angie, owner of Kichipan. I forgot to mention her name earlier. I mentioned me instead. My bad, I'm conceited. It's the Leo coming out. But talk about financial freedom and how like owning a house or owning a cinema camera or whatever seems out of reach because to you it seems like it may seem like an out of reach dream. Really, it's not. It's just it feels far away because we want instant gratification. Like when I first came to Guam, I only had $200 to my name. $200. I moved here from Saipan 2016 spring. That's around January to go to UOG. I got my classes situated. I got my FAFSA done. But, oh my God. The dorms were full, so I didn't have a place to live. I'll just get it. I'll spend $50, 50 out of the $200 I had. And this is how another quick tangent. I had a job before coming to Guam. The goal was to save money so when I came here, I wouldn't be so broke. You could tell how bad I was with money because I had no bills in Saipan other than gas. And I only came here with $200. But anyway, I came here, no place to stay. I was gonna spend the 50 out of my $200. Buy a tent. I was gonna stay at the field house, like at the back, the literal field. I was gonna camp there, shower in the gym in the morning. Then I found out that there's an after hours room when the library closes. I was gonna just stay there and just nap in the seat and go, same thing. Just I didn't have to buy a tent. I was that broke. Luckily, shout out to my friend Lester. He heard about the situation and Janella, my best friend. Lester messaged me first, saying I could live with him, and because him and his family from Saipan, they were relocating here to Guam, and their place was like half a mile down from UOG, so it was an easy walking distance. And Janella, had Lester not reached out, she would have offered me her place, which was, I think, a mile away from the university in terms of walking distance. But yeah, I came here no money. And I remember vividly, this is my favorite 3 stories in one. I'll give you the condensed version. I remember eventually I got into the dorms the following semester. But I was still broke. Like, oh my God, super broke. I remember I was in the common hall of the dorms, where we could watch TV, right? So, and I was watching cartoons because at that time I'm mentally 12, now I'm mentally 16. But watching cartoons, commercial break comes on. I was eating Skyflakes because my late mom, bless her heart, sent me care packages every so often. I don't know why she put Skyflakes, but because I don't really like them, but she put them in there anyway. I'm eating these Skyflakes, right? It's the sour cream and onion flavor. I'm eating these Skyflakes, watching TV, Subway commercial comes on. This sour cream and onion Skyflake now tastes like Subway. So I was so broke and so hungry. I'm just eating this food. And I said, dang. Then I met homeboy who I found out does not cook. He just eats out every day because he has that kind of money. And I was like, that's the dream. Someday I will eat what I want to eat and I will not cook. That's how I know I've made it. All right. And before I tell you, I did make it eventually, but really quick, I took I don't know, you can call it a power, that mental power of tasting Subway while eating these Skyflakes. I took that power and I kept doing it. So like one time I was in the dorms, I really wanted wonton soup. I had leftover rice. So I opened my laptop. This laptop has been with me since junior year of high school. So I look up a picture of wonton soup and I just stare at it and I have my rice and I just take the spoon and I poke the laptop. I ate the rice. the tears came down. That was the soup. I tasted the wonton soup. And I said, one day I'll be like my friend who will eat out every day and never have to cook. I'm going to be like that one day. And then eventually that happened and I became a type 2 diabetic. we're gonna get into an episode where being a creative is not really healthy, or being a business owner or creative, whatever. This industry that we are in, I must say we because I'm pretty sure my viewers are like that. We don't keep our health as a priority. That'll be a future episode. I got that manifestation became true because my bills at the time, my bills per month were only $400, and I was getting paid as in the media. I was getting paid. I think it was $1,400 a paycheck, semi-monthly. I'm very open about talking about finances, by the way. Don't worry about it. This was just 2 years ago. So my monthly main bill was $400. My car note was $300, $700. So my main expense, this is including power, water, Wi-Fi. So that was $700. But I get paid around $1,500. This is net income, not gross. So this is after taxes were taken out. So I would take home, hold on, I'm very bad at math. I majored in English and political science for a reason. So, how much did I say? 15? Yeah, 1,500. 1,400 gross. There we go. It's $2,100 a month. So that's $2,100 of money that I had. Shoot. I was like, all right, I'm gonna eat good. And then I had a girlfriend at the time, and then we both ate good. But I was just like, shoot, I stupidly bought a Gucci hat. Do you see me wearing that Gucci hat right now? This is a Nike hat. Do you see me wearing that Gucci hat? That's how stupid I was. I still have it. I don't wear it for the sake of relatability. You won't believe me if I say I'm broke if I have a Gucci hat on. Don't look at my watch. But most of the people won't believe me. Actually, you know what? No. That's why I'm broke. Because when I came into some money, I started buying these stupid things because then I thought, oh my God, I manifested this. I can buy luxury goods. But that's where discipline comes in, because you don't have to say yes to every opportunity that knocks on your door. The opportunity to buy this Gucci hat for what? What? This hat, I'm not wearing it. It's a Nike hat. Is it Nike? It's an Adidas hat. Spotify listeners, go on YouTube if you want to see how my hair looks like right now. It's an Adidas hat. Serves the same purpose. But I had the opportunity to buy that Gucci hat, and I manifested wanting a Gucci hat just to say I got money, people. You don't have to say yes to every opportunity. You do not have to say yes to every opportunity, because not every opportunity is good for you, my friend. My friends. Just like that. I have a Mont Blanc wallet. My dog ate it. My dog... Here. The camera can pick it up. The dog ate the Mont Blanc wallet. But you know what it holds? It holds $5. Because I'm broke, because I bought a Mont Blanc wallet. Same thing, okay? You don't have to say yes to every opportunity. And that's where the discipline comes in. Hold on, because my hair is bothering me. I'm growing out my hair. I'm going to grow a mullet. Let me know in the comments below if I should grow out a mullet. The women in my life, by women I mean my friends, my female friends, a good majority of them are telling me no to the mullet. Most of the men in my life are saying yes. And you know what? The boys always got my back, so I'm growing out the mullet. You do not have to say yes to every opportunity, okay? Because not every opportunity is good for you. But, granted, I'm still learning how to be good with my finances, okay? But granted, though, I still own these things, and I'm happy I own them. My bank account, not so much. But now we take that concept of me owning this now chewed up Mont Blanc wallet. Love you, Nami. I won't cook you yet. Nami is my dog. Here's her teeth mark. The future me is not lazy to zoom in. But we take that concept now into owning property or owning a camera. I'll talk about something more realistic, as in owning a camera. So I shoot on a Canon M50 and I bought it for cheap. Okay. Like I said in the last episode, I buy for cheap, sell for high. My gear's taken care of, except for this M50. I beat the hell out of it. But we take that concept of me buying stupid things, the opportunity to buy stupid things, into things that will increase my value as a person, as a creative, as a self-employed person, as an entrepreneur. We take that concept and we apply it there. Had I not had that money in the bank account of me saving when my bills were low, I would not be ready to buy this Canon M50, this workhorse camera that has gone with me taking videos of illegal foreign nationals illegally entering our borders. When I was in the media, I used this camera to shoot weddings, photos. I used it to record the governor, the lieutenant governor, senators. I use it to film TV shows. Go to SMG Guam. You can see those TV shows, Their Life in Balance and My Story. Because I bought this camera. But had I had no money to invest into this camera, then now all these opportunities are moot. I don't think I used that right. All these opportunities would not have happened. Would not have had happened. You can tell I didn't get my degree yet. But again, you don't have to say yes to every opportunity because not every opportunity is good for you. But sometimes, though, but sometimes I need to adjust. I'm tired, Sunday night. But sometimes you don't have the liberty of saying no. I'm very animated. You don't have the liberty to say no to an opportunity. Because again, as I mentioned, having the ability to say no to an opportunity is a blessing and a power to have. Sometimes you can't say no to shooting a wedding because if you're broke and you have no other backup plan and this is your career, you can't afford to say no because that's money you need. And that's an opportunity knocking on your door. If you're lazy, you can say no, but you won't get the money, right? So again, what do you do when you can't say no to the opportunity? Not because it's a blessing, but because you can't. You have no money. So that's what Shane was talking about. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like the opportunity to say no is an opportunity I'm striving to have. And don't get me wrong, sometimes, even though your back's against the corner, sometimes it's good to say no, whether that's focusing on your health or focusing on what you need to do. Because, shoot, stuff happens, dude. Life happens. My gosh. But, if you're not ready when opportunity knocks, whether or not you can say yes to or no to it, if you're not ready, life will tell you no. Like if a opportunity to shoot a wedding comes on your door and you're a beginner photographer, and I'm gonna tell you now a quick horror story, really quick. Most clients who book you because you're cheap, those are the clients who don't really like your work. They're just booking you because you're cheap. All right? And yeah, the opportunity to say no is not there. So you do the gig and then they're like, we don't like your photos. We're paying you $200 to shoot our wedding. You know how much money that is? To shoot your wedding, $200. Oh my God. You're cheaping out on photos. What do you expect? You get what you pay for. $200 is a lot of money, but like you're getting married, dude. A lot of money. Sorry, my accent. It's a lot of money, but in the grand scheme of things, you're getting married, dude. These are images that you want to show your kids and you're cheaping out. My camera is not more. It costs. You can buy a cheap camera at that point or just shoot on your iPhone if you're going to pay $200. Sorry. Clients like that just scare me. They make my blood boil. But again, so let's say you shoot that wedding for $200. They complain you can't do anything because your skill set's not there to fix the photos. You probably had good photos. I don't know. I don't know you. But You know, like now they're gonna be telling people, "Oh, don't book this photographer. Look at these crappy photos." But they set you up for failure because you're still a new photographer and they got what they paid for. So what do you expect? What do they expect? But it's too late. Now they're gonna tell other people. They're gonna tell word of mouth goes around fast, especially out here in Guam and in the Sinamai. You know, word of it's your career is over before it started, or in this case, just got started. But if you equipped yourself and you were prepared, whether that's honing your skills, investing in decent equipment, whatever it may be, by being equipped and ready for when the opportunity knocks, you then alleviate. See, oh my gosh, you can tell I didn't get my degree yet. You can then be prepared for when that problem arises, because now you control the situation, and then you can tell people they got what they paid for, or you wouldn't have booked that gig, or you would have said no in the first place. So again, not every opportunity is good opportunity, but how do you equip yourself to handle that situation if you don't put in the work? So I say that to say that currently the goal for this podcast, as I mentioned in the later half of the first part, really is like to put some extra money in my pocket. That's really nice. I can buy another Gucci hat. The opportunity comes up, or I can replace this wallet. Now my dog, love my dog. Her nickname's Emergency Dinner because I got her right before my war hit. And I said, if I have no food, you're the first to go. Love you, not me, but you or me. And it's likewise, if I died, I hope she eats me because I want her to live if both of us can't. But, that wouldn't have happened if I wasn't working for it, right? And now I'm working towards making this be a stream of revenue into my pocket. So eventually I can be financially free and do what I want to do and travel. I'd love to be the Guam version of Peter McKinnon. Heck, we have one already. I think his name is Jedical or Jed. He's a local. He's from Guam and he's making it in New York. Shoot. I can only imagine his rent. Shoot, I'm complaining about $1,000 New York prices. You tell me that. You tell me if he's making it or not, just because he can afford to be in New York being a YouTuber. I don't know what else he does. But I digress. The goal is to prepare so that when that opportunity knocks, I'm equipped for it. I'm ready when sponsors knock on my door and they're like, hey, we want this video out in like 3 days. Okay. Now, while there's no pressure of having sponsors breathing down my neck, let me try and make quality video in 3 days. And then that way I can justify whatever price I'm charging them, So I'm equipping myself for that opportunity to come up. Because again, wouldn't it be nice to not worry about capital, to worry about where the money source is coming from when I fund these little projects? Goal of mine right now I'm working on is I want to do a movie. Probably won't do it in my 20s. Writing a script takes a hot minute, but I want to direct a movie someday. I think one of my friends did it already. Or at least he shot a movie. That's my goal. Fun fact, I was an extra on a movie. It was a cruddy one, Operation Christmas Drop. I forgot what timestamp it is, but you can see me for 4 seconds in the background. I was a sweaty islander. It stars Cat Graham, I think. It's on Netflix. Watch it. I don't get any residuals, but you get to see me when I was more fluffy and I was sweaty. Want to see me sweaty though? It's kind of weird. Watch me on my Instagram stories when I'm working out. But again, that's the dream as a creative, not to worry about where my money is coming from. not to worry about where I'm going to sleep tonight, not to worry where my next meal is coming from. And again, one of my manifestations came true, and I ate out every day, and I became a type 2 diabetic. So maybe if you eat out every day, maybe eat healthy, watch the sugars. Don't be like me unless you want to be fluffy. I say that, but like, really? I tell people as I'm dieting, if there's no health ramifications of being fluffy, I would stay fluffy. I said it earlier, once I get a six pack and I take those pictures for my dating profile if I'm still single, I'm gonna get fat again the next day. Once I see that six pack and I look good in them photos, I'm gonna get fat. I'm not bulky, I'm just gonna get fat again. Sorry. ADHD. But that's a manifestation to have a nice body where I can go shirtless. Sorry. It's already 9 o'clock. But anyway, there's one I know you made me shy, camera, but I say that all to say as we wrap it up. I'm excited to take everybody, all 3 to 5 of you who are dedicated viewers, along with me on this journey as I strive to be financially free. Because again, I'm not preaching to you from this. I'm not some person who's up here and you're down here. We're like this right now. And so you can take whatever slip-ups, whatever mistakes I make, or whatever successes I have in real time, and apply it to yourself as you strive to be financially free. And it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you don't have to worry, you could be making 60 grand, you could be making 20 grand. But if you are not bound by financial constraints, you're already ahead of me in life. If you don't have to worry about where you're going to sleep, if you don't have to worry about your food or your water, and electricity and internet, you're ahead. So welcome aboard this journey. It only took 9 episodes to talk about. This is a fun podcast. And yeah, be sure to click the Amazon links down below. Support the podcast. I need money. I want to be financially free. And if I have to use some of your money, it's well invested. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Stay Cherichelu. Adios.